Okay, we're recording. For everybody who is catching the replay and who's watching right now, I want to introduce my girl Natalia. She's an author, entrepreneur, badass. She has a lot of experience in life and working with people and just like overcoming life's bullshit and pushing past the barriers that we see every day. As entrepreneurs and women trying to become our best selves. So I'm really excited to have her speak to you guys. So let's just get started.
Can I get an amen? Woohoo! Yeah, I mean, just up to make your life and design your life to what you want it to be is a very courageous thing to do. If I want to do that, there's a lot of resistance and kind of like weirdness towards people creating their own lives, and I just want to give you guys credit. And I love that you guys have a group of women to lean on for support, and I definitely always want you guys to remember that not everyone's going to understand what you guys are doing. Be careful who you lay your fears and worries on, because if you put them in the hands of the wrong people, they're just going to help that grow, you know? And so definitely rely on these ladies that are in this group. I think that's a super, super important thing. As far as, I don't know, I mean, Amanda, what kind of things do you want me to touch on? I mean, do you want me?
Well, I would like for you to just maybe share your experiences in overcoming obstacles and mindset stuff, stuff like that, whatever you feel called to.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, well, just to give you a little bit of background on me, I'm 35 years old, going on 36, and long story short, I grew up doing everything I was supposed to be doing and made basically straight A's. But then when I got out into college in the real world, I got my ass kicked badly. Moved to New York City, got a job I hated, got really depressed, gained 40 pounds in 6 months, developed an eating disorder, almost got addicted to cocaine, and just continued to run away from my problems. They kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then my father passed away, and I decided to move to LA and go after what I thought was my passion, which was like television and production. And life just had a bigger plan for me. I started waiting tables to supplement my income, and the thing that I feared the most ended up giving me the biggest blessing in my life. And I think that's something I always want to, whatever you guys fear, usually that's what you need to run towards, because that's where always the shift and the change happens. So that's something that I've learned along the way. But yeah, so I started just waiting tables, which eventually got me to where I'm at today. People started telling me their life stories, and what I realized is that we all get fucked up in life, you know, that's a part of it. But the problem is no one really gives you a heads up on it. And so people think that there's something wrong with them. Me, totally. So that's when I decided to write a book series. So I'm in the final phases of writing or getting my book published with authors. It's been about a 3.5-year journey. I had to raise money in Indiegogo, hit my head against the wall over and over and over again. I had moments where I literally was on my knees bawling my eyes out because I didn't think I was strong enough to do it. But definitely, I know Amanda said that you do never needs to stop, and usually the moment you stop doing it is when things crash. So it's also about finding balance, and you know, sometimes what you think you should be doing, sometimes you need to walk away from it. Because what I have found, Aaron, you know, it's one thing to overcome challenges, but it's also sometimes as women in business, sometimes your door that you think you need to be going to is not the right one. So always be open to when things aren't working, and you'll know because everything in your body, mind, and soul won't feel right. Sometimes you just need to take a back, just go dancing. And usually when I come back to whatever it wasn't working, something happens and it just starts going. So I think that's another thing too. Like there's a difference between giving up and walking away, and also just taking a break. And because the thing is the issue, obstacle, fear is coming from your old mindset, whether it's from that day or from years and years of thinking something. Sometimes you got to switch some things up to see things in a different way. This is so fun. Everyone keeps coming on. Hi. And the other thing is celebrate, 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 celebrate. We get so focused on where we want to go. Cool.
Hey, Natallia. It keeps cutting in and out. Maybe I know sometimes if you stop your video, the audio works better from the phone. You think we could try?
Still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no, so what I was saying is, what was I saying? What part did you hear last?
Celebrating.
Oh, celebrating. Yes, to me that's just as important, if not as important, of everything that you do on a daily basis, because you have to celebrate the no's, you have to celebrate the failure, because that's the only way that you're ever going to learn. And I feel that people fear that a lot, and you get really hard on yourself in the dump, and there's no need to feed that any more than it needs to be fed. The moment you realize that something's not working, or you get a no, that just means you're one step closer to figuring it out and getting to your yes. And celebrating really does help you make it to the long run. I always look at celebration as like a roadmap. If you want to take a road trip cross country, if you don't have little pit stops along the way, there's no way you're going to do a marathon and make it from LA to New York City. And so for success and anything in life, you have to have those mini pit stops. And I always say, you know, the bigger the goal, the bigger the reward. And what I know for a fact too about life is the more you celebrate and enjoy the process, the quicker all this stuff comes. Like sometimes you gotta sit back and remind yourself, this should be fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not doing something right. So that's probably one of my biggest suggestions. And also too, yeah, I mean, do the things that scare the shit out of you, to be honest. And in terms of like having fun, like I like to go jump out of planes and shoot guns, and that scares me to death, but it also is such a great way to retrain my mindset to realize that these things are just new skills that are being developed. You know, it's not these things that are really out of reach. So fun. And then lastly, you know, I just lift and support other women, especially because, you know, I've had a lot of people take advantage of things which, you know, every woman needs to support each other. And I find that the more you support other people in their dreams, it kind of is like a ladder. It pushes you up the ladder and you get closer and closer to where you want to go. Life just somehow works like that. People celebrate, happy, successful people celebrate other happy, successful people. And the more you do that, it's kind of crazy. You won't even know how life will somehow come back around. You know, like, for instance, this past Thanksgiving, I got my bank account hacked, and the way that the person did it, I didn't get any of my money back, and I had no clue how I was going to pay my rent or any of this. And there's this guy that I helped out 3 years ago that walked into my work, who I even forgot existed, lives 3 hours away, handed me exactly the amount of cash that I needed to pay rent. And it's just kind of crazy, you know, when you are helping other people, somehow the universe helps you out. So always, always, always lift and support and give what you can, even when you think you can't give it, because it always comes back, always. And make sure to smile and celebrate every morning. I always do, like, think of my days as a sandwich. Begin my day with something awesome and end my day with something awesome, because there's usually a shit sandwich that you'll be eating at some point in the week, and if that stuff isn't fun. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's all about attitude. It's all about keeping a positive mindset and, you know, taking care of yourself, supporting other people, and just never giving up. I mean, like, success isn't easy. If you look at anybody that's ever been successful, it's a long fucking road, and that's why you need to celebrate and have fun and support each other. And remember, and also too, I would say the biggest thing, and I think Amanda said you guys do this, vision boards or whatever your version of that is so important too, because it's kind of like what I say in my book. It's like a wedding. If you think about it, every woman pulls all these pictures from their magazines to create this fantasy wedding. But it's like, how would you ever get to your wedding if you don't know what your dress looks like, if you don't know what kind of like style of, if you want church or outside? And that is so realistic to us because that's what's been programmed for over, you know, how many years as a little girl growing up. So why is that any different about the kind of car you want, the kind of house you want, the kind of relationship you want? There's no difference. And I tell you, everybody, because I live in LA and I've had a lot of interaction with celebrities, and they all say the same things. The people that are really happy and the people that are living their dreams do this shit. And it sounds so retarded, but it really does have truth to it. And obviously the other thing too is definitely write down your goals, short-term and long-term. And, you know, it's like if you think about contracts, everything that you have, like your phone, your car, or your lease for your apartment, or if your mortgage, it's all contracts. So why wouldn't you make a contract with life about the things that you want? And again, it sounds crazy, but ever since I've been doing this, I mean, I got free trips to Hungary. I've gotten to dance on stage with the Gypsy Kings closing out their concert. And this is all these crazy dreams that I had. And anybody who would have ever saw this list would have laughed at me, but it's all happened. And it's literally just because I put it out there. You have nothing to lose, you know? And like, definitely don't, and be specific too. The more specific you are and the more you really dream and in touch with really what you want, that's really powerful, because we all have these hopes and dreams for a reason. And that is way more powerful than fear, doubt, and worry. So feed all that good stuff. And anytime you do have fear, doubt, and worry, I like to celebrate a dance party. Like when my money got stolen, I threw the biggest dance party I ever threw. And also got the most hit on my social media for that dance. It was really stupid. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about celebrating it, because somehow it always fucking works out. So that's that. I'm a little iPhone. That's it. I can see. Bye.
Thank you. So I have a question. What keeps you like going when you're like in the dark and it seems like nothing's freaking working and it's never gonna happen, and you have all these doubts and like all this stuff is showing up in your face and all these people are telling you you suck and all this stuff is happening to you and you feel like you're not getting anywhere with your social media, you're not getting anywhere with your business? What is it that keeps you going and staying the course?
Well, again, I mean, like, first of all, anyone that tells you that you suck, you need to basically tell them to fuck off. Like, block them, or, you know, do what you need to do, because you don't need that poison. And it's painful. I've had a lot. I always say fire your friends. Like, I fired so many people that I thought I loved and that I thought appreciated and supported me. But what you guys will realize is when you start to go on your journey and start doing things that truly make you happy, you realize how many unhappy people are around you. And these people kind of rain on your parade, and they will poison you. It's kind of like having a weed in a garden. If you want to plant a rose garden, you're going to, of course, pull the weeds. So you got to think of people and things like that as well. As far as like social media, it takes time, and play around with it. Look at it as a game. I mean, I've done so much. Like, I've did YouTube. YouTube didn't work for me. Like, Facebook, of all things, works really well for me. So just look at it as like a game. And the days that, you know, you have really, really bad days, go do something nice for yourself and put down your business for that day. Because you're never going to make any good decisions that day if you feel like shit. And you're just going to get more shit coming back your way. It all goes back down to how you feel and what you're thinking and the thoughts that you are telling yourself. So usually when your day's bad, it's a reflection of what's going on inside your head. And so that's when I always say, if you can get out of it by going out to lunch and coming back to work, cool. Some days that works for me. I mean, I've had mental breakdowns. I remember one time I went to a yoga class and it didn't work. And I literally, before even noon, had a margarita and was playing hangman and was drunk as shit with my friend on a Tuesday. But I needed that. You know, I needed to get back to that point. And then the next day, I woke up and I was on fire again. And usually, you know, those are the most odd times usually bring out the best, but you just have to give it some time and push through it. And the other thing I usually like to do on those days too is look at somebody on YouTube or whatever, if you like to read, that I admire, because we all have the same. If you look at anyone who's successful, the stories are pretty much all the same. You know, everyone goes through the same circumstances. It's not easy, but it does kind of help feed the good things in your mindset to keep going.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. Like when because we read a lot of personal development, and you know, we hear success stories from other coaches, but I like that you go and find just successful people in general and study them and see what they're doing and how, and like figure out what their story is, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, if you look at anyone that's successful, there's certain mindsets and certain activities that every successful person does. And, you know, find what works for you. And I also, you know, the other thing too, because I usually feel like money is always a burden on a lot of people. The days that I have the most money problems is when I go out and give some away, whether it's physical cash I'm handing to somebody or buying flowers for some random person. But it's all about getting back to feeling good about whatever it is that you're struggling with.
So when you're like struggling with money, to go like give some away and feel good about the money.
Yeah, money's, and I mean, I also started writing on all my bills. Thank you. Because if you think about it, you guys are a business. You want people to pay you money for your products and your services. So why wouldn't you be happy to do that for the people that provide you light, that provide you a roof over your head? I mean, we sometimes forget that this money is providing something that makes it really comfortable. I mean, we live in a day and age where our cell phones have accessibility to talk to everybody around the country. And I mean, remember that when you're writing or, you know, paying your bills and stuff. I mean, like, your internet and your computer are giving you guys a business that you can work from your home, you know? So I always like to say thank you. And eventually it will feel good. I mean, I remember, always being like, oh, it's rent. Oh, my car payment. Now I'm just happy. And I pretend when I'm writing these checks that they are for me. And also too, there's plenty of times where I've written myself a check for a big number just to feel good about it. And I just stare at it, you know, because one day you got to get comfortable with being able to look at that number with your name next to it. I think that is important too. A lot of people say they want these things, but to see a big number next to your name freaks people out. So you got to practice, pretend. When you're a little kid, you pretended to be whatever it was that you wanted to be. So why do we have to stop that when we're adults, you know?
Mm-hmm. I love that. It makes it more fun and playful, which changes the energy.
Yeah. It goes all about to feeling good and being happy and being playful. Mm-hmm. It really does.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I've been writing a book for years now, and it's been in and out and in and out and in and out. And I finally had this push this week. I've had like a very transformative week that has, I don't even know what the fuck's going on, but something's happening. And there's like a huge shift that I'm going through, and I'm super excited about it. I'm scared as fuck, but I'm really excited. So I decided that I was going to start writing this week. And for some reason, like all of these decisions that I'm making, like you said, you know, you give money away and then you end up receiving it. These are things that are starting to happen now. Like when you are generous, you start to see generosity pour into your life, which is just what happens when you start doing that. So I was talking to my mom about how I wanted to write, and her friend, she's 84. She's been hanging out with her at the senior center because my mom is officially a senior now. Plays Scrabble with her. It's hilarious. With like Faye and Anne, they're 97 years old and hilarious. So Judy Brown knows these publishers, and she was like, if you ever need to sit down with somebody who wants to read your stuff, just let me know. They owe me some favors. And I was like, okay, 84-year-old Judy with favors. What is that? So my question is this. When you sit down to write and like the organization or lack thereof, which is what I'm dealing with right now, I know to start, you just have to start. But once you get into that starting time, like what's your second step? What is the step after starting?
I'll happily, if you want, I'll get your email and I can kind of email you the process. It's kind of a complicated answer. I don't know if you want to eat up the time with the ladies. But for me personally, just a real quick overview, how I started, because structuring a book is very difficult.
Yeah.
So, I sat down and kind of wrote like just ideas off the top of my head, like what each chapter would be called and kind of what I wanted to address in that. And then I voice noted stuff because a lot of the movie people out here, I hired one of my friends who co-wrote Crash $1 Million Baby to teach me what he did. So basically, I would download a voice memo recorder on your phone and just talk to it, because your ideas that you really want to be putting onto paper aren't going to happen when you're sitting behind a computer.
Yeah.
It's going to be usually happening when you're doing something else. And so you want to capture those. And then from the voice memos, you transcribe it, and then you slowly will build the foundation of your book. And from there, it's a lot of shuffling and it's a lot of rewrites. I mean, I wrote over 200 drafts in about a year and a half of my book before I got it to where it is now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'll get your information from Amanda and I'll talk to you privately more about this.
That sounds great, because that's where I'm at now. I have 6 journals that I'm going through currently that I have to like. I've never read them back because it's my grief journals. So like I stepped into them this week after like 5 years after losing my brother, and I haven't read any of them. Like they're all letters to my brother, and I finally like dove into them, and I'm like, oh shit, oh okay, like this shit's getting real. So now that I'm in it, like I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yay! That's awesome. Congratulations, Jennifer. That's so cool.
So I'm excited to talk to you about that, because it's this call couldn't have come at a more, like, I'm not even surprised that it's happening. It makes perfect sense. Like,
how stuff works, girl.
That's what would happen today. So sweet. Thank you. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions, or do you have time to do a Q&A?
Yeah, I can do a Q&A.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask? I'm just gonna say something.
Nice.
Okay. Oh man, it's hot in here. Okay, so that was awesome. And I really, really appreciate your time. If there's anything else you can think that you want to say anything.
The only other thing too is, I mean, especially when affirmations are huge. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself nice shit. Because we, especially as women, have so much, oops, all these notifications coming up. Have so much negative shit running in your head all day long. You've got to verbalize it out and stare at yourself to reprogram that. And I do that on a daily basis. And the more you sound ridiculous and retarded, you'll start to feel the shift. And the moment you start to feel the shift, you start believing it. When you believe it and you feel it inside you, that's when all this crazy shit's happen. I mean, like, for instance, and I'll leave it on this, I don't have an agent yet, and I'm an unknown author, and it's basically impossible to get a book published because obviously we know that all these bookstores are closing, but it's something that's very important to me because I'm a huge fan of hardcover. I really had you Netflix president, the guy that owns the New York Giants, who owns half of Hollywood, talking about my book. And it's all because I now believe the things that I wanted to. when it comes to money and all that stuff, because the more you speak it, the more you'll start to believe it. And when you really start to believe it and you're aligned with all that, all this stuff comes. So whatever your goals are, I would read them out on a daily basis, but always use power words like I am, I have, like not like I might, I hope, like those are vagina words, they're very weak words. We need strong, powerful words. And the more you use power words, that also makes a big difference in life on all different aspects. Like, yeah. And I mean, with coaching and everything, myself up and started telling me how amazing and beautiful and perfect I am, that stuff went away and my body physically changed as well. So, I mean, I know you guys are doing the coaching thing, so yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. This was awesome. You ladies are so cool. I love seeing everybody. I'm excited to see all your success stories. And the other thing is if you guys are on Facebook, because all the publishers are looking at my analytics and data, if you guys can like, and if you're on Twitter or Instagram, it's _shit101, because every like counts. So yeah, that's it.
Hold on, I'm writing Shit 101. Is it shit101.com on Instagram too, with the underscore?
No, so Instagram and Twitter is _shit101.
Okay.
And then Facebook is just shit101.com.
Cool. So I'm gonna get a screenshot before you hop off so we can do like a photo.
Yay! Is it gonna have everybody?
Yeah.
Yay, will you send that to me?
I will.
Okay.
Is everyone ready? Everyone's like fixing their hair.
I know, we're like, woo!
Okay. Awesome. Hey, Ashley. Okay. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Cool.
All right, ladies, you guys were awesome. Have a great night, and I'm so excited. 2016 to be a kick-ass year, and yeah, do something tonight. Celebrate tonight. Like, have a great night tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have a good call. Cheers, bye, ladies. Let's see.
Yay! What'd you guys think?
Cool. I feel like she's like my cousin.
She's awesome. I'm gonna stop recording. If we're gonna do power hour, we don't have to like record that. Right?
Right.
Okay.